Well, when the tourists come to any country, they have certain perceptions about the country. And today's tourists, and particularly our young tourists who are so IT savvy, the students, before coming to any country, well, they search the whole web, internet over there to see what the country is. And once the itinerary and the program and everything is known to them, they visit the sites. And in fact, many times they are more knowledgeable even than the host at certain sites over there. And then they have certain perceptions, they develop certain perceptions about the visit, what they'll be seeing, what they'll be experiencing, how things would be interpreted to them, how people will behave with them, what kind of food they will have. And with all these perceptions would make that a whole touristic experience. It's very interesting to even ask how far the perceptions are filled, because customer care or tourist care is one of the major things in promotion of tourism, in marketing of tourism. And in relation to that, we have with us our professors from East Hazi Karoi University, IGA, from Hungary, and we have Professor Agnes Horvath, who is head of the Department of Political Science and was also the Vice Rector of International Relations. And I also have Professor Garge Guzman, Professor of History and International Relations. And well, to both of you, in fact, let me start this with Professor Guzman. What kind of perceptions you had about India before coming?
Before coming, well,
And this is your first visit to India?
yeah, absolutely, the first visit, but I know India pretty much, but basically my knowledge about India is based on books.
Books.
And I know it's not enough.
Maybe some experience with Indians in Hungary?
Yeah, absolutely. I have some Indian friends as well, and also I have Indian friends in London and in Paris.
I see.
So I have certain perceptions, but still, experience this kind of experience, it's like, amazing and quite unique. And what I expected and what I'm experiencing right now, I don't know, there are, in a certain view, in a certain aspect, there is totally different, and we also have the similarities. Just like I know so many things about the culture of India, and what I'm experiencing right now is pretty much just the same that I expected. But I cannot really experience the essence of India, how it works from books, and that's why it is huge for me just to somehow just to put my finger on the vein of India, just to experience, just to somehow feel the flow of Indian people, culture, society, and so on. So it's just...
Well, Professor Guzman is making a very, very important point that howsoever one may read in books about any country, in relation to any aspect, or one may read about, or one may see the visuals. We have all those IT gadgets now and websites and YouTube and everything and all that. But his observation is very pertinent when he says that even after seeing all that or after reading all that, what he's experiencing is something very, very, what should I say, unique or different
Yeah, unique.
than
That's the
one
word.
finds in reading and all. And that is where, even in educational terms, what I may say, the field experience in education, the face-to-face interaction in education in terms of the cultural aspects, and having that experience on the site is very different from just reading or learning through the brochures or through books or through these aspects. Now, can you, Professor Guzman, specify that which of the differences you find as very different from books and from very different in the when you are in India and you are experiencing that?
It's really like that feeling being here, because personally I've been conducting, by the way, seminars about India for 7 years now.
Okay.
And when I tell to my students about India, it's so vivid, so colorful. I tell them about the I don't know, the variety of Indian people. I tell them about the variety of the cultures. India is so diverse linguistically, ethnically, in a cultural way, and telling them all about these things, that how amazing is that women, their dresses is just so beautiful and vivid, or also I don't know, about something about the language, how they use it, or the culture in the temples. It's just so theoretic, this aspect, but experiencing is just a totally different way, because my senses are really filled with all these experiences, and I'm filled with, I really feel like I'm filled with these cultural experiences, and it's
Well, I can guess
amazing.
so. You see, for example, if it comes to describing a sari, you see, the
Yeah,
women's
yeah,
dress
yeah.
to a person, a student, someone, it will appear that all saris are same,
Yeah,
But when you see the texture, I think we have more than 200 varieties of different textures of Indian
yeah,
saris.
that's
You
it,
see,
that's it.
the different prints, the different kind of works on that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so is about Indian cuisine, I think, that Indian food being put as one Indian food, whereas at every 50 kilometers, the spices change, the way of cooking changes, the style of eating changes, and the way enjoying that pleasure and all these things change. And I'm sure you must have tasted Indian cuisine before visiting India.
Yes, it's true. And by the way, it's quite a good example, for what we have been discussing. It's like, explaining Indian food. One thing is just tell someone about that. Yeah, Indian food is just so amazing because of the colors, because the spices, because it tastes quite differently, but it's not enough. You can tell that I don't know, one thing. It's yellow because of turmeric powder. Okay, in theory, one can accept it or not, but it depends on the individual. But totally other thing is just to taste it. And India, to me, it's just like,
Well,
it
that's
works that way.
very interesting again. That when you are explaining food to someone, you can show the photograph through visuals, you can describe the spices, you can even show them how it is cooked. But ultimately, food has to be tasted.
Yeah,
So
that's
unless
the way it
you
is.
have tasted it, whatever these aspects are there, like Indian sweets.
Yeah.
Now, when you go visit an Indian sweet shop, I'll think you visited an Indian sweet shop during your this thing. So when you look at the Indian sweets, the varieties and all those things. Now, which of the Indian sweets would you like? Would you tasted? You think you are the best? You
Yeah.
liked it?
My absolute favorite is gulab jamun.
Gulab jamun.
Yeah.
I think that everyone is. But you did taste jalebi also.
Yeah, jalebi.
Jalebi also.
Yeah.
That was. What is your experience about the food aspect?
Before our leaving, I tried to feel the Indian food at the Indian embassy.
Okay.
So they were delicious food, and they a little bit prepare me to Indian cuisine. So it was interesting experience, and Ambassador Malay Miksha always tell me what I'm eating, what is that, how they make, and so I feel a little bit from Indian food.
Oh.
And here food just amazing. I didn't eat spicy and didn't eat chili at home because of my kids, so didn't like that. And if I'm cooking not chili
chili.
foods. Yeah. So with chili, I'm a little bit try to respect that, but I'm open for everything. So I would like to try food everywhere what I am, and here I have just a really good experience.
Professor Kushman, I would say you are a vegetarian. So how do you find India as a vegetarian, for vegetarians as a place?
Well, as a vegetarian, India is just amazing. So it's like a paradise, for me, because I've been vegetarian for 20 years now, and at home I also cook sometimes something Indian.
Oh, really? Which one?
Yeah,
Which ones do you cook?
Well, I cook several kinds of sabjis.
Sabji, okay.
Yeah, or even a paratha.
Paratha, you make paratha.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, or chapati.
And what do you stuff in the paratha with?
Smashed potato.
Smashed potato.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, but that's again, for example, in Hungary, it's not easy to get a chili, a green chili,
Okay.
an authentic green chili. and sometimes it's a bit expensive.
I see.
Here,
I know. Even
it's
I,
just,
I found those prices in Australia and in even Caribbean. Also there, the green chili was one of the costliest items over
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I know they. So, how much you tried? Eggplant is a very popular dish in Europe, I believe, all over.
In Europe, yes, but in Hungary, not too.
Not too
So we just
popular.
started. We just
You
started.
just started
yes.
with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So which is the most popular vegetarian dish in Hungary?
We eat a lot of potatoes.
Lot of
Yeah, a
potato,
lot of
okay.
potatoes, and the rice is very popular too.
I see. I wish I could have made you try different varieties of potatoes, because
Yes.
in India we have different styles of potato, from fried, baked, and
Yeah.
curries, and then different types of curries, and then potato is mixed with practically all vegetables. Even in non-veg diet, the potato is mixed in the stew, and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
This goes on into that. So,
So
are you
if-
taking
if you-
some Indian sweets back with you?
I will take with biscuits, with chocolates. So that was my
Okay.
favorite, and I would
Okay.
like just to show for my parents and my family how
I
it
see.
is good.
But I realized someone bought in the group Son Papri, the Indian sweet, because it lasts also very long. That kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
So that's
I
good.
was the one.
You got
Yeah, I bought the sambar.
Son
yeah.
papri and
I really love them.
And tell me your experience about the Indian dresses, the Indian attire.
Like women usually, the dresses are always interesting. So here, what's the first? Here the colors are beautiful, and women wear a lot of colors on there. In Hungary and in Europe, it's a little bit everything. My son said that everything like gray. The gray is the pink, and the gray is the green.
Okay.
So not the colorful. Here everything, and women in these saris looks just beautiful. So several times I take off and wanted to buy and put back that I can't wear at home. So and
Well,
to make it on the in the
You see, I've
said
seen
that's
that
not-
many foreigners, many tourists, when come to India, and they learn how to wear a sari,
Yeah.
and they'll get a blouse stitched and all.
For us, the Pashminian scarves.
Pashmina
What- yes,
scarf
yes.
stoles, you see, I know. The group bought quite a few. This
Yeah.
come from Kashmir.
Yeah, it was the number one.
in the
Yeah,
region. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
very good aspect related to the dress part and all. May I ask you something in terms of the attitude of the people you interacted with? Wherever little you interacted with the people, whether it was a guest house, whether it is a shopkeeper, or within the faculty, how do you find that kind of an interaction in terms of attitudes?
Most important, the openness for the people, for others. So I don't know how it is work in the society inside, but for the foreign people, everybody is very open. They want to know where from, how are you feeling, and they are very helpfulness people. Everybody who meet, and the second, everybody is so polite. Maybe I would like to bring it to home, that attitude, that it's very important to be polite to each other.
Very nice to hear, Graham. What do you think about
Well, the same here. For example, the people at the guest house, they're always just focusing on us, how to make our presence here more comfortable. And that's a very nice attitude, a very, heartwarming gesture from them. So we are more than pleased.
Which of the places which you have visited, one is the historical aspects, and there's certain other places like you drove through Chandni Chowk in Delhi, or the Suraj Kund Mela, and the crowds, the huge crowds, a huge number of people which you saw there. What do you think about that kind of an experience?
It's somehow quite exceptional because we cannot experience this at home, and first it can be quite not just unique but somehow shocking.
Scary also.
Yeah, well, basically I expected this, but for example for our students, but that was only just the first glance. But after a while, they also felt that it's it's kind of it's rather an experience than a threat. So it's so unique. You need to just take it to a different angle, just to, I don't know, just to watch them, how all those people, you know, in the streets just doing their chores or cooking their foods and so on. And I don't know, they are quite busy like bees, you know, always buzzing around. But it's so amazing, so vivid, so colorful, and really enjoy it.
There's something about the modern developments of India, because IT and all things they are known. You had a look at the urbanization of India, the way it has been taking place, the rising middle class. You find all the malls and everywhere. You went, they were so crowded, people buying and all. So what do you think? And then same time you have seen the traditional aspects, you have seen extreme poverty also, you have seen the extreme richness also of the society. So how do you take that kind of a thing? What's your impression about that?
Yeah, absolutely interesting. To me, it's like, you know, the existence of this kind of poverty and also wealth, it's again something new, something, a brand new thing. What I think is that India, it's really on how to meld these two things together, because it can be manageable, I guess, in the future. Here and right now, this kind of difference between the society and these groups of the society is just you know quite new, but still it has a certain order in it, and I like it.
Let me ask another very pertinent question, you know, which affects the tourism to India. That's the security concern. So did you have anything in mind or you gave any thought to this aspect about the security concerns in India while moving around?
I think our group was very saved. So we moved everywhere together, and
No, I'm just talking
yeah,
before you came.
yeah,
Did you have any concerns about the security aspect? Did you
yeah.
thought in your
Before,
planning?
yeah, before that we had information about how to plan our moving here in India. Try to be together and try to ask help from our guide in India, because he can manage our problems if we have problems. So about the security, they said, everybody said, where a lot of people coming together, they will be everywhere who wants not the good things.
No, I'm
to do
talking in
for
terms of the
about that.
security, the new security concern. You see, there are two types of security concerns which have been happening in tourism now, where tourism feels
Yeah.
threatened is. One was the initial kind of thing that you might be mugged, you might be robbed, someone may
It's
snatch a
everywhere.
purse and
It's
all.
everywhere in
That's
the world.
everywhere world over,
Yeah.
you know. So that
Yeah.
was one security concern. But say in the last few years, another kind of major threat developed when certain tourist centers and tourist destinations were attacked because of terrorism and these aspects. So certain destinations were declared, you know, it's a politics of tourism also, that itinerary advisories are issued not to visit that country and all. So that's what I had in my mind. Were you concerned about any such security threat before visiting India, or you just had, being international experts, both of you?
You know, that same tourist attacks can be everywhere in the world. So if you see Paris or London or Rome or every big cities and interesting buildings, they can be a place of the terrorists.
Well, Professor
So
Howard,
it's
this is a very,
it's-
very important point you have made, you know. And I'm happy that it is only the professor of international relations, you know. And I wish this knowledge goes to the people also, that, well, this could be anywhere.
It could be, yeah.
This could be anywhere. So why just
Unfortunately,
brand
yes.
one destination or one country and stop the flow of tourists to that country by just creating a kind of happy about, and no doubt that attacks have been there, and we have had, every country has had some way or the other loss of human lives.
So
and even
when we
in that.
prepared this trip, it may be bad, but we didn't think about that it can be the place of the terrorism. So we can meet with that. So we know that it's happened here in Bombay and in a lot of places. But India is a huge country, so it's we
I
just
know
didn't
this
think
is, in
we
fact,
just
we
didn't
have been
think about
telling
that.
this aspect, while trying of promoting India, Incredible India as we call it, to show that India is not just small. So if something happens here, it doesn't mean that this side is also affected out of that. But that kind of thing, generally it takes time to put in that kind of imagery. Well, you have visited IGNOU, you have seen the facilities here of distance learning and all. You have interacted with Indian academicians also on foreign policy, certain other things about Indian society and polity and these aspects. Has been your experience in interacting with the academics in?
These lectures and these meetings were very interesting, and every professors were very open to discuss. And it was very interesting to meet with the students in PhD here. So they are very clever. They know a lot of things about the world and about the India and the international relations. So, and they are very respect students to make discussion with the professors. So it was very interesting for me.
No, and similarly, I would say that actually we also learned a lot about Hungary. Because these days, what happens is that people go by certain brands. Something is known for that, something is known for that, and all. And we ourselves have been very much concerned, particularly in the academics, to generate interests about the new countries, developing nations. I don't mean new in that sense, but new developing nations, which have been historical, which have had a continuity of the tradition, still adapting to modernity. And so it is to understand these other global cultures, these other small countries also interacting with them. And for example, I personally learned a lot about this. And I think this is one of the aims which is fulfilled through educational tours, that people knowing, students knowing each other. And one thing I would like you to react to that. Among these educational tools, I find is very important that when the younger generation interacts, that experience they keep with them till their whole life, and they transmit that experience not only to their contemporary friends or in the contemporary society, but to the future generations also which are coming. They will give stories about their visit, about their experiences and all. Do you think so that?
Yeah, I think in the globalization world, we can have success if we understand each other. So Hungary is in the middle of the Europe, and it's a small enough country because 10 million people, it's not too much. But if we want that our students and the new generation will be successful in the future, they need to understand how the world is working, how it is moving, and they need to understand the culture of other people. And these trips, these connections are very important for that. It's also in our program in the international relation, one of the key points. We would like to have them, or they train them, not just theoretically, but the practical knowledge is also very important.
Well, that's one aspect in terms of students and teachers and education. But I think this to address to both of you, would you be promoting India as a destination to your friends, relatives, and your social circles?
For me, yes. The answer, absolutely yes. For relatives and for other people too. And I can say that if they can find a good connection in India, like a good host who are taking care about them, that India is a very friendly
Well, we
country.
have a saying, and which we put also in our promotional aspects, Atiti Devo Bhave, that any guest, any visitor to us is like God, is to be treated like that. What do we have to say, Greg?
Yeah, it's a definite yes from me. I don't know. We have certain, similarities and quite amazing differences, between our two countries, Hungary and India. We manage our life in a quiet, I don't know, how can I put it into words, quite in Western way, we are always quiet about, doing certain things which are quite bound to the time. We should have that. We should, sometimes just manage our things because we have deadlines. And in India, you also have deadlines, but still, how you can do all these, at least administrative or whatever these things, it's just really amazing how you can manage it in a quite relaxing way. And I like it personally. So just experiencing India just as a tourist and also as a member of an academic staff is just quite a new one and good one.
Well, thank you very much, and I hope these relationships go a long way in building. I'm expecting that there will be more student visits from India to Hungary and more from Hungary to India, and I look forward. And in fact, I must acknowledge Mr. Malay Mishra, our ambassador there in Hungary, who in fact facilitated this kind of an interaction. We expect now that more Indians also should visit Hungary. It has to be a both-way process, more tourists. And I am sure that my students of tourism also, the learners of tourism also, will be able to get a lot out of such experiences you have had in terms of when they plan the itineraries or when they go and work in tour operations or travel agencies or even in hotels and all, in terms of customer care and certain aspects. They will keep these experiences in mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.